As someone who is also very relatively new into sewing fall and winter garments, today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 beginner-friendly fall and winter sewing patterns. After sitting down the other day and going through my entire sewing audit, which I did make a video about it regarding all of my prior fall and winter sewing projects, I realized, oh my gosh, I've really only been sewing with heavier weight knit fabric for about 2 fall and winter seasons. So today I come to you with realistic, beginner-friendly fall and winter sewing patterns that I hope you'll enjoy. I'm actually doing this video a little bit differently, so I'm going to go ahead and crank out 5 patterns I have worked with specifically, and then I'll be sharing 5 newer patterns I just came across on simplicity.com based upon the line drawings and assessing really their beginner friendliness. Before I jump into sharing these 10 patterns with you, hi and welcome to Dine and Creativity. I'm Rachel Ann, and this is my sewing channel fully dedicated to sewing, fashion, and of course, the pursuit of creativity. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to start with one of my tried and true, absolute favorite knit sweater patterns. If you love a chunky, oversized cardigan as much as I do in the cooler temp months, then perhaps you may want to check out Simplicity 9826. Now, this one is rated average. There are buttonholes that you're supposed to put down the front of the cardigan. You're working with knit fabric, which in the big scheme of life, I have been pretty new into. But honestly, I've sewn up this style cardigan about 3 different times, even made a version with knit fabric as a loungewear set and omitted the buttons because buttonholes really intimidated me at that time. So I would highly recommend it despite its average rating. The cardigan itself is fairly easy to sew up. The trousers are pretty intense because I sewed a 12 version, but for all intents and purposes, I'm sticking with the cardigan for today. Simplicity 9826 runs from a size 4 to a size 20. The suggested fabrics for View D, the cardigan, are stretch knits only, such as jersey, ponte, rib knit, and sweater knits. This is a really cute one though, overall. I've even modified it with different knit fabric, added bell sleeves to it instead of using the sleeves that they had. Overall, I found this to be a fairly straightforward, non-intimidating cardigan, just knowing what I know now after having worked with it a couple different times. Moving on, one of my first knit projects was actually a 2-piece Simplicity 9857 loungewear set. So if you love a cute and cozy loungewear set for the cooler months, this is one I've recommended all of these before on my channel, and I definitely stand behind them still to this day after ongoing evaluation of these previous projects I've done. But this is such a cute, also beginner-friendly loungewear set pattern. The pants are very flattering. The little cardigan is super cute, and it can be left flyaway or open front, so you can always omit those buttons. But if you're just kind of in the market to start working with knit fabrics, I find this one to be a very non-intimidating early beginner sewing pattern for fall and winter as well. So this one runs from extra small, which is considered a size 4 to 6, to an XXL, which is a 24 to 26. It has a roomy feeling to it. So if you enjoy kind of an oversized feel, then this one fits the bill. And if you like something a little more fitted, then just make sure you measure the pattern pieces because you may want to then size down. The suggested fabrics for View A and View C are stretch knits only, such as bamboo, double knit, ponte, sweater knit, and sweatshirt fleece. Fleece would be really pretty. Oh, and terry knit. And then again, this one is rated easy. So what do we need in fall and winter? Of course, outerwear, some kind of jacket or coat to throw on when those temps drop. And you know I'm going to throw out McCall's 8011 jacket pattern. I even have a sew along dedicated to this pattern if you haven't seen it, but I'm a huge advocate, huge fan. I believe I've sewn it up 3 different times, View A and 2 versions of View C, but this one is also rated easy. And if you have sewn it up, I would love to hear, do you agree with that rating? I think for me, if you are ready to jump in and do a lot of different steps, then this one is your pattern. And it does produce a very cute kind of classic fall and winter coat that you can either make a shacket style version using plaid fabric, or you could do denim twill. And then I'll tell you the other suggested fabrics as well. So the official suggested fabrics are denim, twill, chino, and faux suede. But honestly, as I shared on the sew along, I think corduroy would be absolutely gorgeous. And then this has the potential to be such a basic jacket pattern. You can omit the buttons, leave it fly front open. You could put a zipper in instead, depending on where your comfort lies with sewing with those materials and notions. You could leave the pockets off on the front. So you could really experiment. I could even see this being super cute in a sherpa, or even a fleece fabric would be gorgeous. The sizes come from size extra small to an extra large. You can also size up with this one and make it a really oversized, kind of slouchy winter fall jacket. So the possibilities are endless. All right, pattern four. This is also one I recently worked with for the very first time. And although it appears to be springish or summer on the pattern envelope, again, I think with a little tweak of making the sleeves long, or at least, down to 3/4 length, and depending on the fabric that you use, great beginner friendly winter fall blouse pattern. And this is McCall 7976. This one is rated easy, and it also calls for button plackets and inserting buttonholes down the front. But I'll be honest with you, if you wanted to even omit that and cut the front fabric piece on the fold, that could be an option. I'm just trying to think of ways that sometimes I tweak patterns if I don't feel like messing with the buttonholes or buttons, or if I'm just trying to kind of do my own thing, just easy tweaks that you can do to even simplify a pattern even more. But this one, I loved it. I think that if you are new into sewing, this is such a fun one to work with, and there's really not a ton to it. Let's go ahead and see. Their suggested fabrics are crepes, challis, crepe de chine, and lawn. But if you saw my pre-fall video, you will notice I used a scarf fabric from an upcycled scarf to make it into a cardigan. So if you wanted to kind of change up the fabric a little bit and play around, experiment with something new, this is really a cute one. So overall, for a fall and winter blouse, which I am forever in need of, I love this pattern. And you're not having to mess with inserting collars on it. You're just putting the facing in. This one runs from a size extra small to a large XL. Extra small again is 4 to 6. XL is size 20 to 22. Last but not least, I'm breezing through these patterns I've worked with. I always like to try to speak from my experience with a pattern, because sometimes you see all these different patterns, but you don't really know how it is, of course, until you work with it and sew it. So this is just my personal opinion when it comes to all these, but I do find them to be beginner friendly. Last but not least, McCall's 8530. I found this one to be really cute. It came together in a very straightforward way. It's rated average. It is a slim fitting top. So if you typically don't like to wear things that are fitted, then you may just want to consider that when you're cutting out your pattern size, and or consider extending it just a tad. So just food for thought in terms of the fit on that one. The suggested fabrics are challis, charmeuse, crepe de chine, and georgette. It also calls for lightweight fusible interfacing. Now, please take note that the fabrics that they suggest typically don't have any stretch to it. So, in retrospect, my version, if I had not used a cotton poplin that had stretch to it, I almost feel like the top would have been a little too tight. And so the next time I personally sew it, this is one where I almost wish I would have sized up despite cutting out the pattern pieces. But I'm just going to have to be cognizant of that moving forward, choosing fabrics to go with this one. This one runs from a size 8 to a size 26. It has a little side zipper that you insert. So again, this is one that, despite being rated average, if you're looking to kind of push the skills in a new direction, I found this one to be great. And the outcome, in my opinion, is super cute. Feel free to take a peek at it on my pre-fall collection video that I did, and you can see the burgundy and white version I did. All right, let's get into what is popping up on the simplicity.com website. These are all patterns that I found under the new arrivals tab on simplicity.com. The first one is super cute. This is a jumper. This one is Simplicity 3164. It is an easy to sew jumper, and it very much looks like it would be pretty straightforward to sew up. Seems like you're going to add your buttonholes and pop those buttons on, but outside of that, I don't even see any darts in this pattern. I love the fact that you can add the pockets on the front or leave them off. And this one, you're not installing a zipper or anything of that nature. So really, it's just the buttonholes down the front. The suggested fabrics are cotton twill, medium weight denim, wool suiting, and then there is a lining. So that might be a kind of fun twist on a project. If you're just getting started with adding linings, this one seems to be a pretty basic and straightforward pattern to work with. Looks like the back has two pieces to it. The front has the two pieces, and you're really sewing them down the sides, adding the hem, adding the lining. But other than that, it seems pretty straightforward. So just based upon how it looks, this one seems like it would be a very beginner friendly, just little fall and winter dress jumper pattern. The sizes come from a size 4 to a size 20. I really like this one though. I think it's super cute. There were actually tons of cute ones. It was hard for me to narrow this list down, but I really had a specific kind of criteria in my mind of patterns that look not over the top complicated. Just from my own experience, when I started working with the heavier weight fabrics, my brain just kind of flipped on me. So that is the lens at which I'm seeing all of these patterns through today. The next one is Simplicity 3178. It is a Jiffy pattern, which means it's typically quick and easy to sew. It is rated easy. The fabric suggestions are canvas, double knit, duck, gabardine, herringbone, linen, poplin, tweed, wool. Wool flannel would be cute. And then there is interfacing. This is such a cute and classic wrap style coat. You know, you just have the couple front and back pattern pieces. You can add those deep, long pockets on the front, and it just has the little added collar on the top that, quite honestly, you could potentially omit and just have a collarless wrap style jacket. That would be super cute. But this one comes from a size 8 to a size 26, so we have some size variation. And then because it looks to be not a super fitted jacket, I'm sure that you can create a more oversized feel depending on the size that you work with, and there's probably some room within that pattern, which is good for a fall and winter jacket. You don't want to be too constricted, especially if you have a heavy sweater on underneath. So I loved that one. I thought it was just classic and timeless in style too. All right, this next one, you know, I had to throw in a newer loungewear pattern set that was on simplicity.com, and this is Simplicity 3173. You can make you a set of pajamas for the whole family, for you and your best girlfriend, for whomever. But this one is rated easy to sew. The fabric suggestions are stretch knits only, such as bamboo, cotton knit, French terry, ponte, sweatshirting. How cute. Waffle knits. Ooh, waffle knits would be really cute. In view B, which is the pants, the suggested fabrics are broadcloth, cotton blends, flannel, gingham, and seersucker. But truly, this is a pattern where you can make an entire sweatsuit set. In my mind, for some reason, I'm seeing a beautiful gray sweatshirt material. I think that would be so pretty and so cute. So this could not only be a flannel pajama set, especially for the pants bottoms, but you could even do a whole matching athleisure type set when it comes to this Simplicity 3173 easy rated pattern. This one comes from a size extra small to an extra large, and it does look like there are the boy and girl pattern sizes too, from extra small to large. So that's cute. Now, this next one may not look like a whole lot when you look at the pattern, but I really just paid attention to the lines of this one. And again, if you're new to working with knits, I could just see this being the cutest pattern to work with. But this is New Look 6815, and there are multiple different views here on this one. I very much love view B. I just think it's so pretty, just the gathered sleeve that attaches to the long cuff. I love that style. I think it's very elegant, very pretty. But then you've got your basic view A's, which honestly, who doesn't need just a crew neck knit top? That's very cute. And then you can even make the matching knit skirt, which I could see being super cute. The fabric suggestions for this one are stretch knits only, such as interlock, jersey, rib knit, ITY knits, bamboo knits, modal knit, velour, and sweater knits. Velour would be so gorgeous. This one runs from a size 10 to a size 22. I really like this one though. I think it's very cute. All right, last but not least, I'm gonna round us out with a pair of pants. Notice I saved the pants for the last part. That is the one area in my sewing journey where I am still working on. Okay, definitely. I mean, among many other areas, but I have not sewn up a lot of pants. I came across this Vogue pattern. It is rated easy, and it definitely seems like a non-intimidating pants pattern in my opinion, because it doesn't have the fly front, which I've done a 12 version of a fly front pant, and that fly front, it can give you a little run for your money. In my humble opinion, of course, with my experience that I have here. But this one has three different views. I could just see easily tweaking it, and I just love a classic wide leg trouser. I think it's so beautiful. But let me go ahead and get to the suggested fabrics here. Okay, so the suggested fabrics are crepe back satin, gabardine, lightweight denim. I'll be honest, in my mind, I see this in a thin corduroy. I think that would be so beautiful. So a beautiful kind of khaki or light brown, dark brown corduroy. Can you see it? Navy blue or black? Even a thicker velvet. That may give it a whole different look. Okay, so now I'm going on a tangent here, but this is a pattern I may have to pick up because it's very cute. This one runs from a size 6 to a size 22, so we have some size variation. And again, rated easy. We can't beat that. They describe this one as a semi-fitted pant that has no waistband. It has a back zipper and then the leg variations, which honestly, if you didn't like those leg variations, you wouldn't even have to necessarily put those buttons down the front. That's probably something I would omit. So again, this is a very easy Vogue pants pattern if you are also wanting to hone your skills when it comes to sewing up pants. Did you see any patterns that caught your eye, and or have you worked with any of these patterns? I always love to talk sewing and hear about what you either got working on, will be working on, the sewing chat. It's all fun. Today's a new day. That's why I'm wearing something different. Honestly, I accidentally deleted the previous clip when I shouldn't have. So here we are. This is actually going to be a 2-video kind of week. I have a little treat for you this Friday. I think that anybody who loves knit, fall and winter or wool-like fabrics will really enjoy this particular video coming up. And it's okay if, like me, you struggle with sewing with knits. This is going to give a different kind of option. So I'm very excited to share that. So happy to have you here. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you're taking great care of yourself. As always, happy creating and sewing, and be well.